Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be reviewing yet another turntable. Now this turntable was not on my radar at first, but since its arrival it has completely upended what I believe to be possible in an entry to mid-level turntable. Of course that means we are going to be reviewing Music Hall's The Classic Turntable. Music Hall is a brand that doesn't require any introduction, but the Classic is kind of their upper entry-level, mid-fi, all-inclusive turntable option. And as such, it kind of sits right in the middle of a line that has cheaper turntables as well as more expensive turntables, but the Classic kind of is its own thing. It looks different than any other Music Hall turntable on the market right now. And as a result, I kind of have to look at it as a sort of, like I said, all-in-one lifestyle turntable product. And what I mean by all-in-one is that it comes complete with a moving magnet cartridge. It comes with a built-in phono stage that is defeatable, but it does have a built-in phono preamp as standard, meaning that someone, either a new vinyl enthusiast or even someone that's been around vinyl for a while, could purchase the Classic and integrate it into any AV system available now or even past vintage electronics with relative ease and get on with enjoying their favorite records. And so for the purposes of this review, I will be looking at the Classic as a standalone piece. Now, what do I mean by a standalone piece? Well, I did compare it to other turntables that I have here in-house, but because I see the Classic as kind of an all-in-one solution, I chose to look at it as an all-in-one solution, as a turnkey vinyl solution. So as such, I did use the integrated phono preamp. I used the included cartridge. Yes, I have other cartridges here. Yes, I have other turntables here that I also compared the Classic to. But what I will describe to you as its sound, as its day-to-day livability, is entirely based on using the Classic as it comes factory configured. So with that out of the way, what makes the Music Hall Classic so unique? Well, I don't know if it's unique, but boy does it pack an awful lot of high-end features for a relatively affordable $599 price point. And what I mean by that is I just recently finished reviewing the Pro-Ject X2. And the X2 is a $1,200 turntable if memory serves me, and it is a belt-driven design, but it has speed controls. It has motorized, touch-sensitive speed controls, but so does the Music Hall Classic. And when I say it has speed controls, that means there's no changing of the belt. You simply hit a button for 33 1/3, or you hit a button for 45. It's that simple. And the touch-sensitive portion or controls on the Classic are actually really, really nice. And if I dare say, a little bit better than what you're going to find on the Pro-Ject X2. Now the Classic itself uses an ARM assembly that is not unlike the 1500C that I have also reviewed on this channel from Technics. And so in a weird way, the Classic is kind of like if the Technics 1500C or 1200, for those of you familiar with that, and the Pro-Ject X2, like if they got together and kind of had a baby, you would have the Music Hall Classic. And I love that. I love that because I think that the Technics is one of the more full-featured but easy to live with turntables on the market right now. And one of the things that makes it so easy to live with, besides its direct drive configuration, is the fact that if you are at all worried about how to replace a cartridge or things like that, it has just an entirely removable head shell that you can buy with cartridges pre-mounted to it. And the Classic has that same design. Now, the tone arm on the Classic is not S-shaped. It's not that kind of iconic S shape that the Technics has, but it does have a removable head shell. And that only adds to the ease of use, ease of livability for the Classic, and it's one of the things that I love about it. I also love that it's semi-automatic, meaning you still have to, position the tone arm and cartridge over your record, but it has a built-in Q lever and you can lower it very gradually onto your vinyl. But when the tone arm reaches the end of the side, the Classic has an auto lift and stop function. Now, it won't return the tone arm to the beginning, nor will it restart or replay the side. That is a fully automatic style turntable. But for, $599 with a turntable with this kind of audiophile pedigree, it's nice that it's there. The other nice thing about it too is the fact that it does have a built-in phono preamp. And this allows the Classic to be connected to a wide variety of modern and vintage electronics, whether or not those pieces have a built-in phono stage or not. All you need is a line level input. So if you have an AV receiver, some AV receivers don't have phono stages built in, you can still connect this to one of the open line level inputs like CD or whatever. And that's really cool. It is defeatable. You can turn it off, and by turning it off, then of course you can use whatever phono preamp that you want. But out of the box, the Classic is designed for you to be able to enjoy it all on its own, simply connected to the system that you have in your home of choice, and just get on with listening to your favorite records. And I absolutely love that. Now, the included moving magnet cartridge that comes with the Classic is Music Hall's own Spirit cartridge. Now, this is about a roughly $100 cartridge, which I'm sure some of you are going to say, oh, well, that's the reason why it's not good. And I have to say, I think obviously with any turntable, you can improve the sonic performance by upgrading the cartridge. But as it stands with this $100 Spirit cartridge, it's a really nice cartridge. It's a really nice package. It doesn't do anything grotesquely wrong. And so, as a complete turnkey solution, I have to say, I don't know if there is a better option at this price point that Music Hall, obviously Music Hall could have blown their profit margin and gone with a much, much higher price cartridge. But for as it sits at $599, I think the Spirit is a fine option. So what does the Music Hall Classic sound like? Well, again, to reiterate, I did test it against other tables and other cartridges. I did test it with other cartridges. But I will be describing to you what you can expect from the Classic out of the box, with its built-in phono stage engaged. And so the Classic sounds, well, really good. It does. It sounds really, really good. It is a very pleasing overall sounding turntable indeed. There's nothing about it that is overtly kind of apparent. That is to say, it doesn't have shrill highs or too much of an overpronounced high frequency. The mid-range is liquidy, warm, very smooth, very free of grain and forwardness, but it's not overly rich. I don't know if it's neutral. I would say that it is a little bit on the romantic side and a little bit on the smoother side, but that's okay, and I'll get to that in just a moment. As for the bass is rich. It's deep and solid. It's not the fastest. I think the Technics 1500 with the red cartridge, the red 2M cartridge, is faster on the uptick, but I do think that the Spirit cartridge on the Classic plays a little bit deeper. So that really is how I would summarize the Music Hall Classic's sound. It's very just even keel. It doesn't have a whole lot about it that jumps out at you and goes, hey, pay attention to me over here. And so its traits become more about its accessibility and its friendliness, if you will, to a wide variety of source material. And this is where I think the Music Hall succeeds and why I see it as being a really great entry-level, if not mid-fi turntable for today's modern vinyl enthusiasts. Look, if your entire vinyl collection consists of nothing but 180 gram vinyl and you are chasing that top echelon of what is possible, then you're likely going to find the Music Hall Classic to be a little bit soft, vague, things like that. It's not going to give you that last 5% of something. Now, you can change the cartridge and maybe have a different experience. But as it sits out of the box, that's not its target. But if your collection is largely comprised of new releases that may or may not be pressed from digital masters, and we all know how a lot of you feel about, oh, digital masters, then something like the Music Hall Classic is going to take a little bit of that edge off and return a little bit of that romanticism back to the recording. And that's what I mean by it is well-versed and well-suited for a wide variety of musical genres and tastes, especially if your library is a little bit more on the newer side. And so in that respect, the Music Hall Classic is a turntable that I found myself listening to more and more because everything I played through it sounded good or great. There really wasn't anything that objectionable. And as a result, that makes it something that is approachable, easy to live with, easy to listen to, and one that you do want to put some hours on and listen to. And isn't that the point? So if you're the type of listener that doesn't like to get caught up in the minutia of the audiophile world, and you're not chasing extremes, you're not chasing this idea of perfection, you're just chasing an elevated sound experience, well, the Music Hall Classic is going to give it to you in spades. Conversely, soundstage is good. This is not a table that projects, so the soundstage will be confined to basically kind of the front baffles of your speakers in terms of projection, but the soundstage itself is very deep, and it does extend well beyond the side boundaries of your loudspeakers, should the album have that to give. Dynamics are good. They're not lightning fast. Of course, obviously, upgrading the cartridge down the line or perhaps bypassing the internal preamp and going with an outboard third-party preamp could impact this, make this better. But as it sits as a turnkey solution, dynamics are good, not great, but very solid and, in my opinion, appropriate. So with all that said, what do I dislike about the Music Hall Classic? Well, I hate the feet. I think the Music Hall Classic's a good looking table. I do. I think it looks like a Pro-Ject X2 for half the price. But the feet are ugly. They're just gross. They're gross. I don't like them. I really wish, even if it had raised the price $25, $50, I really wish Music Hall would have used different looking feet. They almost look installed upside down. I know, it's aesthetic. It's an aesthetic thing, but for me, I don't like the feet. What else do I not like? I will say that the auto lift function and the auto stop function worked 98% of the time. There were a couple of records, and I cannot tell you why, but there were a couple of records that I listened to where when it reached the end of the side or got to the label, the turntable did not stop and it did not auto lift. Like I said, I probably listened to, I don't know how many records or how many hours I've put on this classic, but there were two albums that, one of them was 30 Seconds to Mars, and it got to the label and just spun. It did not stop, it did not lift, it did not do any of the things that it supposedly would do, and I have no idea why that was. And I even double-checked the controls on the back and ensured that they were in fact engaged, so it should have worked, but it didn't. Outside of that, I really do find it kind of difficult to be upset with or find fault with the Classic. It does what it says it's going to do, and it does it very well, and it sounds great while doing it. Is $599 a lot of money? It depends who you talk to. I can make an argument that $599 is a lot of money, but in the analog audio or vinyl space, $599 is nothing if you want to have that conversation as well. Are there cheaper turntables on the market? Sure. My U-Turn Orbit Special with even a built-in phono preamp is less expensive. There is a certain level of convenience and ease of use that the Classic does bring to the table and to the argument that I think a lot of enthusiasts are going to like. While it is not a direct drive turntable the way the Technics is, it does act like one. And it has the same kind of functionality largely as a direct drive turntable, albeit through a belt design. And the fact that it has touch controls for speed and it is semi-automatic in its functionality, save for one record from 32nd to Mars. You can kind of see where maybe that extra $100 over, say, something like a U-turn Orbit Special does come into play. And that's why I do think that it is a little bit more of an investment at $599, but it's not a back-breaking one. And my bigger takeaway from my time with the Classic is this. I truly do think that you have to spend 2 or 3 times the Classic's asking price in order to outright best it on many, many levels. So that's my review, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is the Music Hall Classic a turntable that was on your radar? Or like me, did it kind of come out of nowhere and take you by surprise? Also, I want to say thank you so much for watching. A couple of quick announcements. I've launched a new website. I've had websites in the past, but I kind of redesigned this one. And it's still a work in progress, but if you want to, you can go check that out at therobinsonbrand.com. Also, with holidays coming up, I'm going to try and stay on top of videos and posting, but I may fall behind. I know you guys will stuck with me when I got sick a couple weeks ago. But I did want to just kind of put that out there. But to celebrate the holidays, I have created a holiday shopping guide. It is over on my website, as well as I will link to it in the description below. If you're looking for gift ideas, I lay out my picks for this 2019 holiday shopping season. And these are all products that I've reviewed on this channel or that I have lived with this year and would personally either, if I haven't bought them myself, would buy or vouch for. None of it is stuff that I'm just kind of throwing out there for you to take a chance on. This is all stuff that I've personally demoed, lived with, and otherwise would vouch for and enjoy. So that buyer's guide is live on my website at therobinsonbrand.com right now. So please go check that out. So yeah, just throwing that out there. And again, thank you guys so very much for watching. And well, you know the drill. The only person that has to like the sound of your system is you. So happy listening, everybody. And until next time, we'll see you on the next video. Bye.